Hello, viewers, and hello, listeners. Thank you so much, and welcome to our simultaneous broadcast. It means we are live on television, and we are live on all our regional networks. And welcome once again to the 8th episode of Single Spine, The Issues. This week, Monday, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAG, threatened to declare what they called a fatal industrial action, which was going to start on Friday. If government failed to address their grievances by Friday. As I speak to you, CLOGSAG has embarked on a strike action in demand for the payment of market premium to them. CLOGSAG says they were promised a premium, which promise has not materialized. And we are asking simple questions on this evening's platform, Single Spine, The Issues, whether CLOGSAG is justified in its demands. What are the underlying issues, and what about the law relating to strike actions? These and more will be answered on this platform, Single Spine, The Issues. My guest with me to do this discussion, Mr. Cornelius Yorsin, is the Director in Charge Grievances and Negotiation of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission. Mr. Joseph N.K. Gadiko is the Director in Charge Finance and Administration of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission. I must emphasize that we did all on our part to invite CLOGSAG on this platform, but all efforts proved futile. And so I would want to believe that if they are watching us and they are still interested, why not? We will announce the phone lines as we move along so they can get involved as far as this discussion is concerned. You're welcome once again, viewers, and you're welcome, listeners, to your program, Single Spine, The Issues. My name is Cecil Ni Obodai Wentum. Let me start with my guest in the studio this evening. Mr. Cornelius Yorsin is the Director in Charge Grievances and Negotiation, and Mr. Joseph Gadiko, Director Finance and Administration of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission. You're welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Let me first start by asking you whether CLOGSAG is justified in embarking on this strike action. Let me start with you, Mr. Gadiko.
I think before we can go into details, let me give some background information concerning the issues that we have at hand.
Yeah.
As part of the Single Spine Pay Policy implementation, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission actually migrated the employees of the civil and then local government services onto the single spine salary structure. That was in August 2011. Immediately after their migration, the leadership came forward with two main concerns. One, that majority of their members had negative changes in their salaries. And two, that if any increases at all, they were insignificant. As a result, they wrote to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission demanding the payment of what they termed top-up allowance. In actual fact, in the scheme of work of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, we do not have any allowance known as top-up allowance. If you look through the categories of allowances that we have, we do not have anything like top-up allowance. So we were somehow confused as to exactly what they were demanding. So we explained to them initially that we do not have anything like a top-up allowance. So this matter dragged for some time. The Minister of Employment and Social Welfare took up the matter. We entered into a series of discussions on this subject where we made it clear that CLOGSAG, or in other words, civil and local government staff association, do not deserve anything like a top-up because we don't have that in our scheme of work. Now, somewhere along the line, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission was asked to develop some scenarios. So the question was, on what basis are we going to develop scenarios? Because they claim that they received negative changes in their salaries. In actual fact, when we talk of negative changes in salaries, in terms of single spine pay policy, no worker is to be made worse off. And for that matter, we have within the scheme of work what we refer to as convention difference. So if any worker should indicate that they have, any worker should indicate that he or she has received a negative change in his salary or her salary, we do not think that is the case. And for that matter, we try to investigate exactly what was going on. So after our investigations, we realized that what they were terming as negative changes were that most of them should actually benefit from what we refer to as the convention difference. Now, we actually proved our case to them, showing very well that they do not have the basis for which they were demanding the payment of top-up. Meanwhile, we do not have anything like a top-up. So, somewhere along the line, they changed their demand, asking for a premium.
Initially, it was a top-up.
A top-up allowance.
And then, after going through the scenarios, as you have just pointed out, they changed
into a premium. And their basis was that Fair Wages had already given premium or market premium to certain institutions
yes,
within the public services. But here we want to.
But is that the case?
We want to make it very clear.
Is that the case?
Yes, I have to explain. There are some institutions within the public services that Fair Wages and Salaries Commission had to grant some interim market premium.
Which specific institutions are we talking about?
Institutions in the health sector and then the education tertiary. Because before the implementation of the single spine salary structure, they were implementing their own salary regimes that had some elements of premium. So in order not to make them worse off, there was the need for Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to convert such premiums or such premiums that they were enjoying before.
Am I to understand that this was completely absent in the case of CLOGSAG?
Completely absent. Completely absent.
It was completely absent in the case of CLOGSAG.
They were not enjoying anything in terms of any form of premium. Yes. So we found it very difficult to actually accede to the request coming from CLOGSAG. So in actual fact, basically, they do not have the basis for the request for market premium. We are not saying that when we come out with the actual guidelines for implementation,
after which the government white paper has,
that nobody in the civil service will not get a premium. But we must follow the methodology to determine those skills that are critical and are in short supply within the civil
service. Can we
service.
then say that it was wrong on your part to address the issue regarding the health sector and some within the education and tertiary sector, as you spoke about, in seeing to the payment of their premiums?
If we had not done that,
yes,
then we'll be going against the principles of the pay policy. We would then be making those workers worse off. Definitely, because they were already having some elements of premium there. So we must accommodate.
Exactly. So maybe this is where CLOGSAG did not get right as to the reasons why others have been paid and they have been asking for such top-up allowances, which then they would have to move into rates, you know, to metamorphose it into premium and all that. They did not understand the reasons why this happened. It's unfortunate they are not on this platform, but I must say again that we made all efforts to contact leadership, or for that matter, executives of CLOGSAG, to be part of this program. I personally took it upon myself to contact a few of them, but most of their phones were off. And so it's unfortunate we will not get input from them. But all the same, as the program moves on, we will do our best to activate the phone lines. And so if some of the leadership or some members of the leadership, or for that matter the executives, are following us on GTV or listening to us on all our regional networks, why not? You can do that and then make your inputs available. We will take them. Let me turn attention to you now, Mr. Yosin. You are in charge of grievances and negotiations of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission. And I would want to believe that this issue has been on your table for some time now. How well have you dealt with it? Because if you have dealt with this very well, I really do not want to believe that the situation we're talking about, should be available on the table for discussion.
Let's look at it this way. Unions and associations have their own internal challenges. Now, if executives of a union, you meet them and you discuss issues with them, you expect that the issue is explained to the membership, the constituents. Now, most often, our finding is that most often that is not well done. After some time, you see the constituents pressuring the executives for certain things, which always to so many issues, including re-election and all that. Then somehow they bow the pressure and declare strike or make certain statements. Having said that, this issue has festered for some time now. As Mr. Gadiko explained, all the explanation has been done. In fact, at one point, the matter was even lying before the National Labour Commission at a point. So I believe that if you have a grievance and you believe that it's a genuine grievance, there's a way out of it. You go to the National Labour Commission and you complain because it becomes an industrial dispute. The Labour Act is clear who handles industrial disputes in Ghana. So you lay your matter before the National Labour Commission, and if they're unable to resolve it, or if they somehow they bring out a decision and you're not happy, you go to the law courts.
See, but the point is that they have mentioned a number of times that this issue has been on your table for some time now, and that they have not had any tangible explanation, or for that matter,
one other thing that we have to explain is that it is not like because somebody is saying, I want this, that he definitely must have, even if you give all the explanations in the world. You see, because let's look at it this way. It is not only CLOGSAG which has conversion difference for some of its members. In fact, throughout the whole public sector, conversion difference has been a feature of the policy. And that is why the policy in its wisdom said that when looking at the existing salary and the single spine basic salary, when there's a difference, pay conversion difference. So it's not only CLOGSAG which has had that problem. So it's not only CLOGSAG which has a problem of conversion difference. Then otherwise, all the civil service, all the public sector must be hands up asking for top-up or premium. But public service workers are aware that the white paper on the single spine salary policy draws out a policy called market premium, which premium the policy sets out clearly the way that it can be granted. You have to have market survey to determine the scarcity and the criticalness of a skill. And then you will draw out a formula for the payment of premium. This thing has not been done as we speak. What is being implemented, as Mr. Gadiko said, is an interim measure to take care of those who had an element of premium in their salaries prior to the single spine salary policy. And for the health sector, we are talking about the health services structure. That one already had a premium that carried forward from the GUS, Ghana Universal Salary Structure. In there, they factored the ADHA, the allowance, the additional duty allowance, into the GUS. So when the new HSS was being done, they had to factor it in. So therefore, the HSS was enhanced than all the other salaries. Now, when you're migrating them, you don't want to make them worse off. Then you have to factor in this one. You see, as an interim measure, being the break-even between the old salary and the new salary, you pay that one as a premium. And CLOGSAG salary didn't have any such thing in it. And so therefore, the principle is so clear. When you go to the universities, there was the dollar policy. Now, if you migrate him, you realize that because of the dollar policy, it's made worse off. So the difference,
so you would have to factor that into it. That's the reason why you are doing this for the tertiary.
It is not everybody who is receiving, and in fact, most public workers understand this. When the proper system comes, and then you are determined to be somebody eligible for market premium, you would receive market premium.
Okay. Well, they are even threatening that if action is not taken, their strike action is going to remain in force until, I mean, you address their concerns. I don't know what's the government is looking for.
My brother, you know something. We have laws in the land.
Exactly.
We have laws in the land. See, one thing that I commend the government for, the government has not interfered so far in the work of the Fairwages and Salaries Commission. Remember, as I always say, the doctors went on strike for how many days? 19 days.
Yeah.
Pharmacists have been on strike on and off so many days. We had a strike from the Ghana Association of University Administrators. All this time, the government has insisted that there are regulations, there are procedures, follow it. You know what I mean? So, for the first time in the life of industrial history of this Ghana, of this country, government has not bowed to pressure from unions just to give them their demand. They have said, now we have a body, the Fairwages and Salaries Commission, that handles these things. Go through them. If you are not satisfied, go through the procedure.
Exactly.
And I believe the government must continue doing this. I remember
very well when the president appeared on the IEA platform, that encounter with the IEA, he said it, that there's a reason why it is difficult, because these issues are very complex issues. Exactly. And so sometimes you don't get involved. Exactly. You would have to leave it with a consultant and all that, and you take advice from them. We will go for a break. When we come back, I will move into other issues, and then we will attend to some of the concerns raised by CLOGSAG. We will be back. Viewers, stay with us. Don't change your channels.
That even if you petition me, the thing is, our intention is to try and make the labor mechanisms work without interference from the political establishment. That is what got us into this situation in the first place. If some group of people went on strike, to satisfy them, the president said, give them an increase. If another group went on strike, give them an increase. And so we created a situation where one person was earning this, another person was earning that. They were doing the same jobs by job description. So we came up with the SSS. And the SSS is meant to try and equalize and pay people the same amount for work of equal value. That is the underlying principle behind the whole single spine. Now, if different organizations keep petitioning me as president, and I call Fairwages, give it to them, we will end up destroying the structure that we're trying to establish. And that is why, as president, I must be careful in terms of interfering in the wage negotiations. And so I know Professor Mills had that policy, and I also have that policy. If it's absolutely necessary, of course, I'm the chief executive of this country, I would look at it. But as far as negotiations are still possible and ongoing, I must allow the process to progress. We must build the capacity of the Fairwages Commission to supervise and superintend labor remuneration in this country. And I'll do my best to be able to do that, so that we create a situation where all of us are able to advance together. The problem about this kind of thing, and why sometimes it becomes difficult, is the amount of money we've already spent in terms of single spine in increasing salaries. Now, we introduced something they call market premium. You're very aware of that. And we've come out with guidelines for applying the market premium. Different groups are agitating about different things. I'm not a labor expert, so I don't understand the basis on which those agitations are. The ones who are labor experts will come and advise me from time to time. But the thing about that single spine is, as soon as you touch one part, it affects another part. When you give doctors, suddenly nurses will appear, or pharmacists will appear and say, hey, why did you give doctors this? That is the problem. That is a problem. Everybody believes his profession is the ultimate and paramount. As soon as you touch doctors and give them something small, hey, pharmacists, hey, you're giving doctors this. We too, we are there, you know. And so it's a very murky area. I'm not willing to get involved in, you know, like that, you know. But like I'm saying, if it becomes absolutely and ultimately necessary, as a chief executive, I'll look at some of those things and see what is fair.
Okay. Welcome back, viewers. I'm just wondering if the chief executive is a bit worried and sometimes on issues like this, and he would want to stay away and listen to advice from technocrats and consultants, then I can imagine the pressure on your table. Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Good. How do we address this once and for all?
As we said, we have laws in the land.
Yeah.
So that we have the National Labour Commission, which when persons go on strike without reference to them, they will call them and bring them to book, so to speak. I don't recall any time that we received any notice from the CLOGSAG of this strike, apart from the media one. The media one would not call it a notice because the Labour Act is clear what constitutes notice for embarking on a strike action.
Yeah.
The notice given in the Labour Act is couched in such a way that by the time that the number of days that you give would elapse, the National Labour Commission would have taken an action, and so therefore the strike action would be unnecessary. It would be redundant. The way out, I believe, is that if CLOGSAG thinks that they have a case, then they should properly channel their grievance. If Fairwages is not listening to them, then they should go to the National Labour Commission and put their case before them. And if they have a case, I'm sure National Labour Commission will determine.
Okay. Let me announce the phone line. Maybe we can pick a few calls as we move along. Okay. 0509 079208. If you have some concerns to share with us, why not? You can join us now. This opportunity we're giving you right here on this platform. You tell us your name and where you're calling from. Hello?
I'm calling
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Hope, and I'm calling from Votary, precisely Southton.
Okay, all right. Southton.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to know if other sectors are having market premium. Does it mean that other sectors are more or important than the other sector?
Well, it's a very good question you have raised, but if you have joined us right from the beginning of this program, you will appreciate why this is happening to those sectors that you are making reference to. But all the same, I wouldn't want to speak for Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. I will give them the opportunity to reiterate that point again. He doesn't understand why other sectors, are more important than others if they are being paid market premium. But before you answer that, let me pick another one, and then we can move on. Hello? 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 It looks like we have lost this call, but maybe you can attempt.
The market premium is not about the importance or non-importance of a job. If you ask me, the most important job in Ghana is that is done by sanitary workers.
Okay.
You see, the market premium is about critical skills and how scarce they are. You see, and that, as we said, has not been developed. Let me tell you how.
Hold on, it looks like I have someone else on the line. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I want to find out from this my senior brothers.
What's your name?
I need to Fuseni.
Your name?
Fuseni.
Stephen.
Fuseni.
Oh, Fuseni. Let me hear you, Fuseni. Fuseni, speak up.
I want to know this our health workers, the medical record has told that only had negative their salary. So it's only 2.5 every.
Fuseni, we can hardly hear you. Are you still on the line, Fuseni? It looks like we have lost Fuseni.
See, during the migration of the public sector, the Fair Wages and Salaries was faced with a challenge, the challenge of the health sector and the investors, who, as we already said, had an element of premium in the salary, and who, therefore, there was this huge problem facing us. So we had to, we have this body called the Public Services Joint Standing Negotiating Committee. They are the stakeholders that we work with. We had to go and confront them with this issue And it was agreed to have an interim measure to cushion or to cater for these who had this huge conversion difference arising from the prior premiums or element of premiums in their salaries. And so it was agreed at that meeting of 5th August 2010 that to have this interim measure for them pending the development of the guidelines. You see, so market premium is not at all about importance of a job. It's about how critical a skill is. It's about how scarce a skill is. But the current measure is not about even this. It's about those who already had an element of premium in their salary and who had to be taken care of so that they are not made worse off and so that they don't have the risk of them saying that we are not going to be part of the scheme.
We have a call on the line. Let me pick a call. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. And where you're calling us from?
I'm Emmanuel calling from Bolga.
Emmanuel from Bolga. Let's hear you, my brother.
Actually, I can see there's pressure on the Fairwages and Salaries Commission.
Yeah.
We actually appreciate it. And we know they are doing their possible best to enable this country to run very well. But recently, we, the junior nurses, came to their office. We had our petition given to them, and they met us. They spoke very well. Part of the internship allowance that we were supposed to receive, which we heard from them that it had already been inputted this October. And we went to the bank only to realize that nothing was inputted. So I want to know why that one didn't reflect.
Where did this promise come from?
According to our executives, we heard they said they've inputted the money already.
Okay.
So we should wait.
So it was.
The problem is, hello.
It was from your executives. They gave you that assurance.
Yes, that is the assurance we had from them that they said they've done already. They've edited and done everything already. So we should just wait and see what will reflect. So we just wonder what is now happening.
Okay.
I hope they will address.
I understand your position. It's also been something running around in the media that there's some claim of promise which had come from the Minister of Employment and Social Welfare that some of these grievances will be addressed and it will be very soon. Is this something that you are aware of?
Yeah, definitely. Any grievance that comes to Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, we have the responsibility to address them. And I can say that several grievances came to Fair Wages, and we have dealt with more than 90% of these grievances, except the CLOGSAG
But
grievance.
Did you fulfill a promise with this very one?
In fact, he's talking about inputting of money. Fair Wages and Salaries Commission does not do any inputting. I believe strongly that he's talking about controller and accountant general.
Yes.
So we do paperwork, actually. So we don't do inputting. So his issue concerning internship, I am not very clear about that.
Let me go for another call. We can pick another call. And then, hello?
Hello.
Yes. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from, my brother.
Yeah, I'm not Madam. I'm Emmanuel calling from Sunyani.
Oh, Emmanuel from Sunyani. Okay.
Yes.
Emmanuel, go ahead. We're listening to you.
I want to contribute to the discussion.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Yeah, I'm a civil servant, and what we are saying is that before single spine, the differences between CLOGSAG members and other workers was very marginal. For instance, we used to compare ourselves to teachers. Teachers, a fresh graduate used to be on level 14, and then civil servant level 13. The difference was like 50 Ghana cedis difference. We are now all buying from the same market. Now, after single spine, the difference is very huge between CLOGSAG members and other workers. So, and we are facing the same market. So we have been disadvantaged. The fact that our salary has been increased does not mean that we are now better off. Our prices of goods and services have gone up.
Okay.
And what we were able to use our money to buy before single spine, we cannot buy it again. So we are disadvantaged. Yeah.
Now, Emmanuel, just hold your fire. Tell me the difference if you are very much aware of this. What is the difference?
Yes, for instance, after single spine, my difference, what I had as single spine increment is 160 Ghana cedis. I've worked with civil service for 8.5 years now. I still take less than 1,000 Ghana cedis. 8.5 years. We are graduates. Still take less than 1,000 Ghana cedis. So we used to compare ourselves slightly with teachers. There's no teacher who has worked for 8.5 years as a graduate in the GES and still stays less than 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Now, so the point I want to... No, Emmanuel, the point I want you to address is, what is that conversion difference now as we speak between you and the teachers, the comparison you made earlier on?
I'm just using teachers as an example, but when we take all public sector workers, we civil servants had the increment. Always they will say that government wage bill has increased by 2 point something or 3 billion now. But
it has gone up by 5.7 billion as we speak. Get your facts right. It's important.
That came to civil servants as individuals. I had about only 20% increase in my salary. 20% increase in my salary.
Okay.
So it's not something to write. It's not something good to talk about when it comes to CLOGSAG members.
Okay.
It's not every CLOGSAG member that gets maybe something. Maybe the only thing that civil servants get something aside their salary. It's not every civil servant that gets that something.
All right. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Well, Emmanuel has a concern. He appreciates the fact that his salary has increased. Secondly, he knew the levels he was on with teachers from the educational sector. As we speak, even though both of them have been migrated onto the spine, there's a huge difference as far as their salaries are concerned. And this, for him, is a worry.
I want to react to that immediately, that the statement that they are now worse off than the teachers is not true. It's not correct. Because we have data to show clearly the comparison. If my friend can easily come down to Accra and visit the Fairwages and Salaries Commission, I think we can open this to him clearly, because we cannot say this on the air. Now, aside that, if you look at the increases within the civil service, I can say here that about 60% of civil servants had salary increases ranging between 300 Ghana cedis and 700 Ghana cedis as a result of the implementation of the single spine salary structure. So if he says that they are worse off than the teachers, I don't believe it.
Mr. Johnson,
let me add that, you see, the single spine policy is not a salary increment. As you are aware, we did job evaluation. See, the CLOGSAG, the problem the CLOGSAG had was that their salary structure was already a very enhanced structure, already even before the implementation of the spine. Number two, you must be comparing comparable jobs. The job that the teacher is doing and what he is talking about, are they comparable? Because we are talking about job of equal worth or equal value. So if you are talking about job of equal value, they've done job evaluation and it's been determined that your job are the same, then you can now tell me that your counterpart is receiving more than you, whereas in the past you're receiving more than him. So you see, we are talking about comparable jobs.
Okay.
So you don't say that you are a civil servant, you are comparing yourself to a teacher or a nurse, when it is not a comparable job. The job evaluation is what must determine whether or not it is a comparable job.
Let me pick another call. After that, we will go for another break, and then we will come back and continue with this. I know it's definitely a hot issue we're discussing, because as we speak, Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana have embarked on a strike action, and they are demanding payments of market premium. And this is what we are discussing on our platform today, Single Spine the Issues. Your name and where you're calling from. Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, please. I'm Elizabeth.
Elizabeth?
I'm speaking. Yes, please. I'm speaking from Bologna.
Elizabeth, you know what you can do for me? Elizabeth, move away from your radio or then move away from your television.
From that, please.
Okay, good.
Move away from that.
Now speak. You say you're calling us from where?
Bolga.
Bolga. Elizabeth, let me hear you from Bolga.
Please, I'm a community health nurse. And the time the single spine, I didn't get it. It will come on my something they call return outside would deduct it. And I've never been overpaid or picked any like any loan. I've never received any loan or taken any loan or been overpaid. So I don't know how I would do to recover the money.
Okay. All right. This.
Yeah, they have this customer care center, the Controller and Accountant General Department. She should contact them and draw their attention to it. If you have to not go for any loan, they should not be deducting you for a loan.
But it's so interesting. I received a couple of calls because I know, and I'm sure that some of our viewers and listeners knew that we're going to have this program today, that they went to the banks and they realized that their salaries were halved or they have been short-changed and all that. If it happens like that, what measures should they?
Yeah, let me come here quickly before my friend comes
okay.
on. I believe strongly that because arrears were being paid to workers over a period of time, people got used to the fact that the arrears plus the basic salaries should be their basic now, the new basic. Yeah. So after the payment of the arrears, they are now back to the normal basic salaries
that they are supposed
to. So immediately they have realized a shortfall. Again, aside that, some workers, because of the payment of arrears, they realize that their salaries, that the take-home has increased. And for that matter, some of them went into third-party agreements, going to, how do you call it, buy things on credit or getting loans from the banks, etc., etc. And these monies are now being deducted, and it's affecting them a lot. So most of them, one, because the arrears are not being paid again, they are now back to their normal basic, and others also because of third-party deductions.
Okay. Now, we're told that an interministerial committee was set up by the Ministry of Employment and Social Welfare together with the Ministry of Finance for them to implement, certain... What has happened?
Okay.
Well, I'm sure before you go for that, let's go for another break. When we come back, I will move into that issue and then we will address that. So we're going for that break. Viewers, stay with us, and listeners, if you're still with us, we are live on GTV and live on all our regional networks across Ghana. This is Single Spine, the issues, and we are looking at CLOGSAG. They have embarked on a strike action, and this is what we are discussing, whether the decision is legal or illegal. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Well,
yeah, I think on his first issue, the best thing that he can do is to get in touch with the regional office of Controller and Accountant General, so that maybe something else is happening there. Nobody knows. So he can get in touch with them to find out the reason for the reduction.
Finally, let me take this point from you so we can wrap up this segment. What should be the way forward regarding CLOGSAG's decision to embark on a strike action?
Well, I believe that they should follow the procedure. If they have a grievance, go to the National Labour Commission, or indeed the Public Services Joint Standing Negotiation Committee, and tell them that, you know something, we set up a criteria for the interim measure. We believe that we qualify, we are not giving. However, to say that for those teachers and others who say they have experienced a reduction in their salary, what they have to do is that they have to look at the salary all this while, what their basic salary was quoted to be, and then see whether the basic salary is the same, and then see the arrears that were being paid. When they deduct the arrears, if the basic salary is the same, then there's no problem. If the basic salary is not the same, then there must be an anomaly, and they should report to the Controller and Accountant General Department in their regions where they have these customer care centers.
Okay. Let me also hear you, Mr. Gandhi.
Yeah. We understand the pressure on the leadership of CLOGSAG. But we believe strongly that they know the facts. So as a way forward, there is a need for the leadership to at least educate their members so that they understand the realities on the ground. Without that, they will continue to receive this amount of pressure, which will also be pushing them forward on demanding certain things that we feel they do not have basis.
Again, I can stand on some of the pointers you have raised that CLOGSAG's decision to embark on this strike action is illegal. More or less.
It's illegitimate. It's not proper.
It's not proper.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you on this platform. Mr. Cornelius Yosin, Director in charge, Grievances and Negotiation, Fairwages and Salaries Commission. Mr. Joseph Gadiko, Director, Finance and Administration of Fairwages and Salaries Commission. I say a big thanks to all of you, our viewers and our listeners. make a date with us again, same time next week Saturday. Remember to join us on GTV and all our regional networks. We will be live once again here on Saturday. My name is Cecil, and I've enjoyed working with my production crew and my technical crew. I say a big thanks to you all again. Keep watching GTV. We will be back next Saturday.
General notion that most public servants attach a zombie-like attitude towards work. Most people go to work late but leave very early, resulting in low productivity in the public service. Can there be a mechanism to link pay to productivity? Can performance management actually be implemented in the public service? For answers to these questions and more, tune in, text in, click in, and call in to Single Spine The Issues this Saturday on GTV and Radio Ghana Networks nationwide.